This is part 2, going over what we were going through on part 1. At the moment we've got a kick, a loop, a hi-hat and a clap in there. And now we're going to go to the more interesting part. Well, I feel this is the more interesting part. It's the bass line. And I do get asked this quite a lot. How do you make your bass lines prominent, strong, powerful, dirty, whatever you want to call it? It's quite simple really, however it does take time. So this will be just about getting a decent bass line in there. The tip is to have probably the right EQ of the bass. So we'll just go through the bass. I mean, this is probably one of my go-to bass lines. We'll use samples. There's nothing wrong with using samples. You can actually use synths, make them into samples. That's a very good way of doing them. So we've just got a sub bass in there. We'll put that again on the mixing desk. I'm going to turn that down a bit. The importance of a good bass line, firstly, would be the key of the bass line. You probably want to be using, well, your 5th octave. We'll go for an E. We'll go for an E. Try an E. E's quite a happy tone, that one. And that's just a simple sub. Then go onto the mixing desk. Just needs a bit of more low end on it. Take all the high off it. Now this is where it gets a lot more interesting. I don't know if many producers actually do this, but anyway, this is what I do. Chording your bass line. This is where you get your dirt kind of edge to it. It's probably not a great idea to change key often with this kind of method, but if we just try a key that probably doesn't really work with it, that's how you get a really dirty edge. It's almost like mixing. So you're kind of creating a bass line as you would be when you're blending bass lines in a mix. So it's almost like mixing really. So we can try that one and play it on its own. Oh, straight away, look. And that's just dirty and horrid. We'll try. Let's try that one. So. Got a lot more low end on it already. Just want to sort of tweak the one at the bottom a little bit, because you want it to be on an E note. Just bring the one down a little bit. The one that's producing the more low end, which is the C, that's producing the grunt. The E's producing the sound, the key. So now we've got like a decent enough sub bass in there. You probably want another bass in there. You want a more mid-range kind of sound. A good one that I quite like to use occasionally is one from the Paul Maddox sample pack, which is called the Moog bass. So that one. So if you got the Paul Maddox pack, it was free from a while back, but I can send this sound if you want to have it. It was free, so no. So yeah, you just use this one. Again, assign it to a different channel to the sub bass, because you want the EQ to be different on this one. And you just plug it in there. Some noises as well, you might have to just normalise them because they're not loud enough. Just make it have a player. Yeah. And try. Again, we could even chord this and see how that sounds. And give it a... Yeah. Okay. got a bit more prominence on it. You can actually hear the bass now. It's supposed to feel like this. Yeah. It's still not quite right. So what I'm going to do now is just EQ little bits. Well, that's okay for now. I mean, you can always go back to it just to refine it, but as long as you've got it decent enough, rocking, you're feeling it already, you can carry on with the track. Because ultimately, if the bass line is not grabbing you, it just puts you off actually trying to carry on the track. So if you actually make a relatively good bass line, something with a bit of drive, a bit of grunt, or a bit of feeling to it, it'll just allow you to carry on further. It'll give you that flow, give you that kick up the arse to actually go ahead and carry on and do music rather than just stop. So we've got that. Also as well, just to give it a little bit of a drive to it, you just want to just grab any kind of some kind of stab noise really, just to give it a nice little edge. We'll try that one. Quick high pass noise. It's just a little stab noise really. I mean, just a case of finding the key, because it might not be in the same key when you play on the keyboard. So we're on an E. Oh, it is. And just do it on the offbeat. Yeah, just a little note there, just a little change up, something like that, just something simple. I mean, that'll, you know, give it a little bit of an edge. Again, put it through its own channel. Everything has to be in its separate channel. It just makes the workflow so much easier. You know where everything is, you can EQ them differently, you can create the balance. So we'll play this with a stab in it now. Also as well, and that's more hardhousey. If you want to write something more energetic, energy, subgenre, call it if you will, you just want these little notes just shimmering around a little bit. So you just put them side by side off the offbeat. Take them ones out there. Techno bar, so turn these down a little bit. It's a little techie kind of edge. Use that one with the straight beat. Yeah, it's got a little edge. Sometimes if you want that dirtier edge, you just want to be using the lower octaves there. 4th octave for your darker stuff. If you want it a bit more happier, more uplifty, you probably want to use more of your 5th octaves, but we'll do a layer of both, just give it a blend. And we'll see how it sounds now. Probably needs to turn it down to double the volume a little bit.